Hasantan Abdullah and my fellow teammates. So today we will be presenting about our group assignment which entitled Four Core Components of Mahathirism. Our team consists of 5 members, including me myself, Ni Arisa Kasrina, Erin Saziana Zukiman, Siti Nur Umairah Arshad, Muhammad Daniel Luth, and Muhammad Irham Nadi. So as you can see here, this is our table of contents for our presentation.
So, first of all, we have to know who is Tun Dr. Mahathir. Here is the background of Tun Dr. Mahathir, which is he is a 4th and 7th Prime Minister in Malaysia, which is from 1981 until 2003 and 2018 until 2020, and known as the longest serving Prime Minister in Malaysia history. Tun Dr. Mahathir was born in 10 July 1925, and Tun Dr. Mahathir also granted the sobriquet Father of Modern Nation. So what do we know about him? Tun Dr. Mahathir, known as the Prime Minister that changed the economy modernization and its leadership style. Here we have Mahathirism based on nationalism, capitalism, Islam, and populism. Let's get more deeper.
The first core component of Mahathirism is nationalism. Mahathirism, the political ideology linked to former Malaysian Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, is firmly grounded in the principles of nationalism. This ideology embodies Mahathir's vision of a robust, independent Malaysia that can assert its sovereignty both at home and on the global stage. At the core of Mahathirism is a focus on national identity, self-reliance, and socio-economic equity, which significantly influenced Malaysia's policies and development during his tenure. To actualize his vision for Malaysia, Mahathir championed a series of policies aimed at promoting industrialization, enhancing infrastructural development, and fostering a distinctively Malaysian cultural identity that resonated with its diverse population. His initiatives were designed not only to boost economic growth, but also to cultivate a sense of pride among Malaysians about their heritage and achievements. Mahathir's efforts to reduce the nation's dependency on Western powers were evidenced by various strategic initiatives that emphasized economic self-reliance. He believed that by building a robust and independent economy, Malaysia could better navigate global challenges and assert its position in international affairs. Mahathir's approach to nationalism prominently featured the upliftment of the Malay population alongside other indigenous groups, commonly grouped under the term Bumiputra, a political coinage which translates to Sons of the Soil. This focus stemmed from a recognition of the historical economic marginalization these communities face within Malaysian society. For example, to rectify these socio-economic disparities, Mahathir expanded the affirmative action policies established under the New Economic Policy, initially introduced by former Prime Minister Tun Abdul Razak. The primary goal of the New Economic Policy was to fundamentally restructure Malaysian society by alleviating poverty and redistributing wealth in order to achieve a more equitable economic landscape among the various ethnic groups. Next, to the new economic policy, Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad unveiled the Look East policy in 1982, weaving it into his broader vision of nationalism and self-reliance. This innovative policy drew inspiration from the remarkable economic advancement and developed strategies of East Asian nations, particularly Japan and South Korea, countries that Mahathir held in high regard for their unwavering work ethic, discipline, and industrial prowess. The primary aim of the Lucas policy was to acquire invaluable knowledge and best practice from these dynamic economies, particularly from Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan.
And now we go to my point, capitalism of Mahathir, which is the governance philosophy of Mahathir Mohamad, centered on a unique form of capitalism that blended free market principle with strategic state invitation. For the first point, I choose with which is emphasis on industrialization and economic agenda prioritize industrialization to drive national progress and diversify Malaysia's economy. Agriculture, this vision encapsulated in the Vision 2020 framework aim to establish Malaysia as a fully industrialization nation by 2020, promoting technological innovation and fostering key industries such as electronic, semiconductors, and automotive manufacturing. Position the country as a hub for high-value products. Next point is implementation of privatization policies and state intervention. Promote private sector growth, key public asset and service such as telecommunication and athletics. However, strategic state intervention was maintained through agency like Khazanah Nasional and PMB, ensuring national interest, where protesters remain aligned with Malaysia development goals. For the third point, which is the creation of national enterprise, which is like Proton Petronas. A key aspect of Mahathir's economic strategy was the creation and development of national enterprise in to drive industrialization and symbolize Malaysia's ambition. Petronas, the National Oil and Gas Corporation, thrive under Mahathir's leadership, becoming a major revenue source and elevating Malaysia's status as a global energy producer. For the last point, role in integrating Malaysia into the global economy. Vision for Malaysia included integration into the global economy through export-oriented growth and attracting foreign direct investment. Administration introduced incentive like tax break, streamline regulation and free trade zones to draw multinational corporations, electronics and manufacturing by fostering international trade and participating in organizational such as ASEAN. That's all.
Mahathirism embodies the principles associated with Mahathir Mohamad, Malaysia's Prime Minister, reflecting his distinctive leadership style and thought process. This framework is characterized by its emphasis on pragmatism, modernization, and nationalism. A notable aspect of this ideology is the intricate role of Islam, which is a vital component of Malaysian culture, particularly in the context of its multi-ethnic Muslim population. Mahathir has consistently upheld his views on Islam, encouraging Muslims to embody good Islamic values and to practice religious moderation and tolerance, both among themselves and in their interaction with non-Muslims. His vision of Islam embraced a harmony with modernity, emphasizing the importance of science, technology, and the development. While Mahathir aimed to uphold the principle of secularism, he sought to incorporate Islam into his governance to prevent the faith from becoming a source of division. In his approach, he aimed to enhance the Islamic identity of the nation while fostering unity in a religiously diverse society. Mahathir Mohamad's leadership was effective in promoting modernist Islam within the government, aiming to reconcile the principles of the religion with the challenges of globalizing world. One of Mahathir's key reforms aimed to modernize Islamic institutions to meet the demands of the contemporary world. He laid the groundwork for Islamic banking and finance, which operated in accordance with Sharia principles. As a result, Malaysia emerged as an international hub for Islamic banking, not only establishing standards but also gaining global recognition. A profound example of the integration of Islamic values within education and administration is the establishment of the Islamic banking concept and its related financial institution. This movement reflects a growing trend to create financial systems that align with Sharia law globally. The central aspect of Mahathir's Islam policy, commonly referred to as the Islamization policy, aimed to ensure that no laws of the country and no government policies would contradict the teachings of Islam. This initiative demonstrates that Mahathir effectively illustrated how individuals can simultaneously embrace Islam and modernization without hindering progress. By establishing Islamic banking and institution, Malaysia not only strengthened the Islamic foundation within its society, but also showcase the capacity of Islamic values to foster innovation and promote good governance in a multicultural environment.
Moving on to populism in Mahathirism. Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad was skilled at connecting with the public through persuasive rhetoric and effective policies. His leadership focused on improving the living standards of ordinary Malaysians, particularly in rural and working class communities. Mahathir showed deep empathy for ordinary Malaysians, especially rural Bumiputra communities. He emphasized national pride, self-reliance, and hard work as core values. By framing national challenges as a threat to unity, he fostered a sense of common purpose across the population. His new economic policy, NEP, which he continued after the former Prime Minister, aimed to reduce poverty and restructure Malaysian society. Mahathir focused on improving education, healthcare, and economic empowerment, particularly for the Bumiputra. His policies also included vocational training, industrialization, and job creation for rural communities. However, critics argue that NEP created a wealthy business elite and deepened ethnic divisions in the country. There were concerns about the long-term effects of economic inequality and its impact on national cohesion. Mahathir oversaw the development of significant infrastructure such as the North-South Expressway (NSE), which improved transportation and linked the rural and urban regions, stimulating economic growth. His rural electrification and clean water programs brought essential services to remote communities, improving living conditions. Mahathir also invested in education and healthcare facilities in undeserved areas, ensuring rural communities had access to basic services like schools and clinics. Mahathir's populist strategies helped foster inclusivity and national unity. His infrastructure projects and policies laid the foundation for Malaysia's modernization. While his tenure saw socio-economic progress, issues of equity and ethnic-based policies remained controversial. All in all, Mahathir's populist approach led to significant development in Malaysia, but it also remained concerns about the long-term social equity. His leadership marked a pivotal era in the country's political and economic history.
So, in conclusion, Mahathirism had a significant impact on Malaysia, transforming it into a modern, industrialized nation with improved infrastructure and economic growth. It strengthened Malay empowerment and national pride, but also deepened ethnic divisions and centralized power, often at the expense of democratic freedoms. The long-term effects include a mixed legacy of progress and challenges in balancing development with unity and governance.